Hey, what's up? It's Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. I wanted to make this quick video I want to talk about three things. We're going to talk about collections and settlements, uh, some things that you need to watch out for. Uh, we just finished a consultation for a business client, but it's actually for his wife. And I just want to go over some of the things that I wanted to make them aware of when making a decision to either work with our company or to do things yourself, because I'm always wanting to have people make an educated decision. I'm also going to talk about something that we've experienced here with the Credit Repair Shop with our payment company that was kind of disturbing on the language that was used. But I want to tell you about that. If you're a customer of ours, we've been contacting all of our customers to let you know that we're changing the payment system that we're using, and I'll tell you what happened with that. And then uh, I want to talk a little bit about subconscious mind thinking. I know some people, they don't like to hear about it, but I say that everything that happens, there's like some sort of connection. Like one of the things that happened to me the other day. This is crazy. This is just crazy. We I moved back out on the farm. My wife, she didn't like living in the city, and before she had her transplant, well, years before, we had lived out on the farm, and then we moved into the city when she started having trouble and just couldn't do the things that she used to do when we had horses and stuff. And so we moved back to the city, been there almost 20 years, 2 years short of 20 years. And we bought a property on 10 acres, back on the farm again. And she's going to get horses. She had a transplant. She's doing good, so she wants to get back to that lifestyle. And this is the crazy thing about it, to show how subconscious, how the universe is connected. I was thinking to myself when I was, getting ready for work one day, and I was like, it's like green acres, and this kind of, t- shows my age. I'm about to turn 54. Actually, this next week, no, this weekend. Well, let me look at here. If you want to wish me a happy birthday, on Monday I turned 54 years old, and we so I was thinking when I was getting ready for work one of the days, I was like, Green Acres. And there used to be this TV show in the 70s, and yeah, I think 70s and maybe 80s. I think it was 70s though. It was called Green Acres. And the wife wanted to live in New York, but the husband said he wants to move back on the farm. It was like this rich couple, and rich white couple, and they had to, you look it up on YouTube and look up Green Acres, the TV show, and you'll see what it was about. But what happened? This is crazy. A customer signed up with us for credit repair services, and guess where they live? Green Acres, Alabama. I think it was Green Acres, Alabama, or Green Acres, Mississippi. Let's see. I mean, this is crazy. It was Green Acres. Is it Mississippi? Green Acres, Mississippi, or Alabama. Green Acres. Yeah, Green Acres. I don't know. I can't find it here, but it was either Green Acres, Alabama, or Mississippi. And what that shows, when I get uh, like, those are like signals to show that the universe is connected. There's been other things that have happened to me recently where I've seen things like that, and what it shows, it gives validation that it's connected, and what it does, it validates to me that people who are watching this video, there's a connect. There's more than just you scrolling and seeing me on YouTube. There's more of a connection. It's a connection that either an answer or a validation. That's what I always say. It's like an answer or a validation. And for me, with the Green Acres, like validation that it was a good decision to go ahead and move there. Because for me, I didn't want to really do it, but but it's relaxing when I get out there. There's no neighbors. Closest neighbor is like more than blocks away. Like I could see their house, but it's blocks away. To the front and back, there's no neighbors. It's just green, straight green, and then going in the back, straight green. I don't see no house, and I can see for miles, no house. So on that, that's the subconscious part. So now the other part, and to close out on the subconscious part, what we think about is what materializes. What you think about is what materializes. And I was looking at some stuff where like videos and music, and like how those videos and music is really putting into people's mind, like it is programming you subconsciously without you knowing it. Like think of a song that you have, and how quick you can think about that. But then when someone tells you something good about you, or you try to do something good for yourself, how easy is it for you to just like drop that? And that's because when they put it in music, you have a beat. Like some people don't even understand this. Like if if somebody is talking to you about something and they can snap their fingers or they clap their hands, did you know that actually can wake up your subconscious mind to say, listen? And when you're having that happen over and over and over with the beat of music, the words, beat of music, the words, beat of music, the words, is a suggestion. Any song that you're listening to is a suggestion. You may not even know it, but it is a suggestion to you. And what I'm seeing with the music right now, it is like devastating on some of the music that's out there and what they're doing to our children, what they're doing to us. You have to be very careful. You have to, number one, offset that programming. I'm not going to be here to tell you because I don't want the comments, but you have to. You can listen to what you want to listen to, but you got to be very careful. So enough from subconscious. Let's talk about, before we get into the collections, on dealing with them. Something that happened with our payment processor, which was, I don't know, it just struck me the wrong way, was that the processor stated that they did not want to deal with the demographic that we were serving anymore. Like the demographic that we were serving. And I was like, that's crazy. So if you're a customer of ours, we had to change to a new processor. And so we're contacting people as fast as possible to get you switched over to our new payment system. We had to actually do all of this stuff manually because you can't share the data from one processor to another processor. But I thought that was telling, that they had said that they didn't want to deal with the demographic that we deal with. And I thought about it, and I was like, well, they don't want to deal with minorities. But then when I think about it, we deal with all demographics. The consultation that I just got off the phone with was with the white couple in Chicago area. So so I guess I don't get that fully. So now let's get into talking about with settlements. This is a question that a lot of people ask us, and I get the emails, I get the chats, and I answer those. Those are ones that they usually leave for me to answer. And people are always like, the number one thing that they're worried about is like, okay, I got this letter, they're saying I owe this money, like the couple in Chicago, it was a student loan. They got a letter in the mail saying that they owe over $6,000. And when I reviewed it, it's a private student loan. It's not a federal loan. And what I told them, this is the information that I want to get across on this. You got to be very, very careful when dealing with these types of collection letters. Number one, these schools are getting lawyers to deal with these debts, and depending on what type of student loan it is, it could be where the settlement is it's not going to be a settlement, or there could be a settlement. I can tell you that with the federal loans, Biden just passed a executive order that is going to forgive up to $10,000 on certain loans and up to $20,000 on other federal loans. On private student loans, it has nothing. These are not included. He has no jurisdiction over those. But the good thing is that when they're private loans, is that those can be negotiated. It can be negotiated a lot easier actually than a federal loan. Federal loans, only thing that they've been negotiating on is some of the interest that had accrued when it was not being paid on. But I had a client. He owed $30,000. The lowest that they went was about 20. I think it was about $25,000, and the original amount that he had borrowed was only $13,000. That's a federal loan. For the private loans, like for this example, it was over $6,000, and person had only borrowed $1,300, and it's ballooned up over the last couple of years to that amount. First thing I would do is number one, make sure that the interest rate that they charged on it was legal. Is that a legal amount to be charged for the state of Illinois on a student loan that was not paid? Was this student loan placed into a judgment, and that's the reason why it was able to be ballooned up? This is something that would need to be looked at. Maybe they didn't even know because they didn't. They just got the letter out of all of a sudden in the mail. So this could be a judgment, and that would give it the ability to be able to be charged at a higher interest rate depending on the laws in their state. Now, dealing with settlements, dealing with collections and settlements, when clients come to us and they'll say, well, hey, I got this, I'm looking at my credit reports and I'm trying to clean this stuff up, and I see these see these debt collections on here, and I'm wondering what would be the best track to deal with them. And a lot of people will come to us and they have this like two minds. They're thinking two ways. They're like, I want to get done with this, get it done and over with, but then they're thinking about I don't have the money to pay them. And so that's that two-minded thought process where your money is not connected to your thought process on what you're trying to get accomplished. So if you come to us and you have collections and you're saying that you want to deal with them fast, but you don't want to pay any money, that's not a logical a logical thought process. You're not thinking logically. You're actually thinking in a lottery mindset. This is what you need to do, and this is what we would do. If you have collections on your credit reports, the first thing you need to do is you need to request that they do a full validation on those. Most people will only send that validation to the credit reporting agencies. Credit reporting agencies may or may not do a validation request to the furnisher, who is the collection agency or original creditor that has it listed as a collection on your credit reports. So the next thing that you need to do, which is what you should do in conjunction, is you send that to the furnishers. But what happens, and why a lot of people are reluctant to sending it to the furnishers, is because it's going to wake up everything on there. Those furnishers probably been sending you letters. They've been looking for you. You haven't been responding. So they're probably like, let's just keep it on their credit reports, and they're going to wake up one day wanting to fix their credit, and then we'll deal with it at that time because we can't find them. And that's what people are afraid of, even though they may not say it. That's what they're afraid of. They're like, well, if I send this to them, directly to them, it's going to get them back active. They want to just try to send it to the bureaus and try to get the bureaus to take the information off. Well, who do you think the bureaus are supposed to send the information to see if it's validated? That's why it's like people are just spinning their wheels some of the times on this stuff. Sending letters over and over and over again to the bureaus is not gonna get you the fastest action. What's going to get you the fastest action is to send that to the furnishers, see what the furnishers come back with when you ask for that validation. Some things like medical debts should not be on your credit reports at all, period. Not just because of the $500 rule, because of them violating the HIPAA Act by disclosing your medical information to a third party without your approval. So, but if it's like a credit card debt, then a credit card debt is going to be handled different. Did they sell that debt? Does the furnisher have the rights of that debt, that collector, or is it being collected by the original creditor? And we're starting to see that some original creditors are keeping those accounts. Like Capital One is starting to go after individuals, and they're just hiring lawyers in the area, and they're going after lawsuits. American Express, they've always discovered, and there's some other ones that are starting to say, hey, we're not going to sell this debt off. We're going to we're going to get a lawyer and come after them. So if you have a lawyer coming after you, then you have to even be more careful in the way that you respond to them. You have to be prepared to move into a settlement phase if they prove everything. This is a lot of work going back and forth. So it's not just about sending the letters. You got to be able to be willing to make some phone calls. You have to be willing to send more documents or request more documents with those furnishers. So it could be a lot of back and forth work. And but it can be done. It can be done. And some of the times people say, well, what about the time frame? Well, the time frame is, submitting your information yourself or having a company like ours submit it. That's done right away. But the response to that information, that's in their hands. Like, you can't force a company to respond quicker. You can't force a company to say, okay, you owe this amount of money, and we want you to pay this amount. We want to negotiate this amount right away. Some of the times they have to work it through channels. If the original creditor is the one that hired a lawyer, that lawyer has to work back channel through the original creditor to say, hey, is this okay? We can't just make a decision for the original creditor. If a debt collector owns it, but they hired another debt collector to go after you in your area, they have to talk to that debt collector to say, okay, this is the amount that we'll approve. And if that individual that's being sued, or that's being that's the debtor on that collection, if they want to pay less, then there's going to be a process to get to that amount, to go less. And then something else that you got to keep in mind, that it seems to be passing over people's head, and I see it all the time on other YouTube channels some of the ones that I watch or come across, is that they take, and it kind of shows that they're not really doing the work. If you're doing a settlement offer with a debt collector, and the debt collector is like, okay, you owe $1,000. We want to settle this for 50 cents on the dollar. Let's just throw out a number for $500. And you come back at them and you say, I want it also removed off my credit reports. Logically, would you think, if you said, I want it off my credit reports, with that individual debt collector on the phone, do you think that they would want to know why you want it off your credit reports? They may not say it, but they're going to say, maybe this individual is trying to get a house. Maybe this individual is trying to do something employment-wise, business-wise, get a loan, whatever. And they're going to come back and say, okay, well, we can get that also removed off your credit reports, but instead of $500, we want $600. And this is something that with other channels, when I've seen them talk to people, is that they never bring that up because they never negotiated. When you're negotiating with someone, there's always a reason. Like, say you're negotiating and you want to buy something for someone, it's a back and forth. And when one party knows that another party wants something extra, they don't always just say, okay, well, I'm just going to throw that in there. A good negotiator is going to say, well, I feel that this individual they added something else to the pot. We had an agreement of $500, and now they want to add on there that they want to have it removed. Now, if you negotiate that at the beginning, $500 with the removal, and they say, okay, good to go. But if you're negotiating and you're trying to get a removal, get a lower amount, that's what's the back and forth is going to happen. Is they're going to say, okay, we know because they asked for a lower amount and they asked to have it removed, that something is going on. So we're going to throw our number out there, and it might be higher than what you might expect. And then if you say, okay, maybe they came out, you started at the beginning to have it removed with a certain amount. You said $500, and they say, okay, well, hey, that's good, we'll take it. But then they might say, well, hey, we're going to come back and say, no, we're not going to give you that amount. We talked to our client and we want to do it for $600. That's what sometimes can happen, and I want to make you aware of that. And so you got to be very careful when you're doing your negotiations. From experience, what I would always tell the client to do is to negotiate from the beginning with the removal, get their lowest amount that they're going to come at, and then you try to backtrack to try to see if you can get them to lower that amount. But if you started off with the amount without the deletion, then they're going to probably try to come higher when you add the deletion. And then the other thing is that if they won't delete it, which all collectors will usually delete because they have control over that. What they don't have control of is the original creditor's account. They cannot tell them to delete that account, and they will not go to them and try to get them to delete the account. That is something that you're going to have to do on your own, and that is something that we do for our clients, or we can get it reported as positive, which it should have been reported as positive when they sold that account for less to the debt collection company. So I wanted to get those three things out in today's video. Gonna be doing some more research on the interest rates. If you missed today's earlier video or the video previous to this one, I had talked about the lawsuit that DC brought towards two online lenders, and that the way that they were hiding the interest rate, like they were charging upwards of 251% interest. And so these are things that I'm going to do more research on, because I think that even though a person takes a loan and you end up not being able to pay the amounts that they are trying to make you pay, that it could be considered predatory if the amounts of interest that they're trying to charge you on is just not legal for your state. I mean, we got to pay what we got to pay for stuff, but if it's not legal for the amounts in your state, just like the DC, I'm not sure if it was the Attorney General for that state, but for that district, they just said that, hey, it violates the usury laws, and that they just don't want their consumers to be under that type of predatory lending, and they felt that they should forgive those loans with the remedy of using the remedy in court, and pay them back any of the interest that they paid on those loans. So I'm going to do more research on not just that, but just how the laws pertaining to these interest rates, because there's like the way that these are, the trick behind them is that lenders notice that it's not technically the way that they disclose the interest rate. That could be disclosed one way, but it's the way that it is being, the way that the loan is being done, the way that the loan is being processed on a month-to-month basis is where they're finding that the interest rates don't match what the people had signed up for. I hope I said that right. So that when they look at, this is your payment, this is how much is coming off the principal, and they look at the interest that's being charged, that's where they're figuring out, hey, this person is paying 200% interest on this loan. But in our state, you're only allowed to charge, they had a 24% rate and a 6% rate that they can charge. But these were, when you looked at it, it's like 251% interest. And one of them was 124% interest. So I'm going to do more of my homework on those. So I'm in the video here. Please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already. And make sure that you post your questions and comments. And if you need help with your credit, please visit the creditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different, so you can see my 8-point validation process, my 2-phase settlement process. That's the way that we're going to repair the credit and get you out of debt. If you need your credit reports and scores, we have 2 links, credit with regular FICO, where you can see what the car dealers, credit card companies, mortgage companies will see the exact score, how they rate you. That link is below here, or you can just get your regular Vantage scores and see your what's on your reports, your TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian credit reports. And if you have debt collectors coming after you, I have a newly updated letter. The link is below here. I do charge for those letters. This will stop debt collectors. And it still has all 3, the statute of limitations, debt validation, and cease and desist collection activities letter. Thank you for your time. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and founder of the creditrepairshop.com.